Yeah, you read that right. Lee Child is done writing Jack Reacher novels. Now, some of you may be thinking, this news is pretty old. And it is. I didn't know it was official. Honestly, this news came out back in January, I think. Maybe February. But no one has talked about it here on YouTube or on any podcasts that I've seen. So I figured it was fair game to talk about. Apparently, not a lot of people caught this news. Now, if you're a huge Reacher fan, as I am, and Lee Child fan, as I am, this comes as a blow. This is sad to hear. This is a character that we've grown to love, over 25 books and several novellas and short stories, and even movies if you enjoyed those. But it's not entirely bad news, because while Lee is going to stop writing the books, he is handing off the reins to his brother, writing under the name of Andrew Child, which he just co-authored his last book with. So the latest Reacher novel, book number 25, he wrote along with his brother, Andrew Child. And these are pseudonyms. These aren't their actual names. Even Lee Child, that's not his real name. And his brother is writing under Andrew Child. His real name is Andrew Grant. But I guess the idea here is that they're going to co-author the next couple of books, and then Lee will hand it off to his brother to take the character wherever he wants to take the character going forward. So I'm just going to dig into this article from January 2020. It says, Jack Reacher series author Lee Child quits and lets his brother step in. This is by Kevin Rawlinson. It's The Guardian. The author of the Jack Reacher series of novels is retiring and handing over the writing duties to his brother, according to a report. Lee Child says he's been searching for a way to kill off the title character, portrayed by Tom Cruise, for years, but has ultimately decided his fans deserve to see him live on in books, which will now be written by Andrew Grant. But Child, who was born James Grant, has reportedly set out a condition for his brother. He, too, must change his surname to Child. And this is a quote from him. For years, I thought about different ways of killing Reacher off. First of all, I thought he would go out in a blaze of bullets, something like the end of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It would take an army to bring him down. But Reacher had to have an afterlife after I was done. It says, Grant is an established author in his own right. It's not as if I twisted his arm into doing it, and he didn't twist mine either. It just happened. It feels like a natural development. My brother is a good writer. Now he has a hero, Child said. He added, readers don't need to know about me or whoever writes the books. They only really care about Reacher. And I know he's now in safe hands. And then it goes on to say, Child has sold more than 100 million books since embarking on a career as a novelist, relatively late in life at 40. Jack Reacher has been turned into a film, is also reportedly being made into a series for Amazon Prime. So, I'm upset to be seeing, to see Lee leaving. But I understand. He's getting older. He's been writing these books for over 20 years. And like they said in the article, he didn't start writing them until he was 40. So, look, I'm going to try and look at the possible bright side of this, right? Reacher, the character, is established. Lee crafted him over years of meticulous, wonderful writing, and it would be sacrilege to alter the character in any major way. So I think it's safe to say that Reacher will always be Reacher. And that is thanks to Lee Child, who concocted him from his own imagination. I'm going to try to stay positive. Because, in all honesty, the last few books have not been my favorite. You know, maybe with another author breathing new life into the book, you know, bringing his own ideas to fruition, I'll start enjoying the stories, you know, as much as I used to. Also, I feel like it's better than killing the character off. I mean, that's the only other option. And that would mean no more Reacher stories. You know, that what we've got now is all there is and all there ever will be. And that's sad. That's a sad prospect. I want this character to live on. And I think Lee's going to have an active role in at least monitoring what's being done. I read another article that was talking about other authors who have done this sort of thing, who have handed off, you know, beloved characters to someone else because they're just such a big character that there's just many more stories to write with them and you know, to please the fans and also to, you know, make a buck. They're going to keep the character alive and kicking. I guess James Patterson has done this, and several other authors have done it, have handed off their characters or their series of books to another writer. And I don't know, it's interesting, but it works. I mean, it's been done. This is not a new idea. So I'm gonna choose to trust Lee's judgment, right? And at least in this case, you know, he's handing it off to his brother. It's not like he's just handing it off to some young writer to just take over. And this is his younger brother, and Lee's described him as, like, you know, he's young and hungry and full of ideas. Like, I think he's going to do, I hope that he's going to do our beloved character justice, right? And I think if Lee is willing to trust someone with his character that he and all of the Reacher fans love so much, I think that's saying something. And I think we should trust him with that decision. And that we owe that, you know, at least a chance to his brother. Or anyone else who he decides is worthy of his character. I mean, ultimately, this is Lee's character. This is his baby. And so, if he's going to trust someone with it, maybe we should give him a chance too. I'm happy to see that he's not killing Reacher off. And I'm interested. I'm cautiously optimistic about the kind of stories we're going to get going forward. I wasn't in love with the last story that he co-wrote with his brother. But that's not saying a lot, because the reins have not yet been handed over. So it's hard to say what it's going to be like when Lee is no longer writing the stories. Now, I've seen in that article I read where authors had handed off their characters to people. Sometimes they have a very active role still. Like, they'll write a 50-page kind of basic outline to a story and then hand that over to someone else. And then that person will write their version of that story. And then the original writer will still get, like, editing in the end. Like, all the editing rights. Like, he'll go through and change things he wants changed. And I don't think it's going to be like that. I think he's trusting his brother to fully write Reacher. And like I said, I'm going to try and remain optimistic about it, because I guess I just don't want to imagine a world where I don't like Jack Reacher novels. You know, that would be terrible. So I'm going to hold out hope. And like I said, we're going to get, I think, 1 or 2 more books that are co-authored by Lee and his brother. and then he'll fully hand over the reins. Now, I don't know. I'm more curious to see how Andrew does on his own than I am to see them co-author books, honestly. But as much Lee Child as we can get before he fully retires is okay by me. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. I know Reacher fans like me are very passionate fans, very passionate about this character and about these stories, and I want to hear your guys' take on it. So let me know. Let me know in the comments below. If you're listening to this in podcast form, just shoot me a message at Real Brett Scott on Twitter or Instagram. But most likely you're watching this on YouTube. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think of this. Did you already know about this? Am I just super late to the game? Like I said, I had heard about it before, but I thought it was fan speculation because of the co-authoring of the last book. I thought people were speculating that, oh, he's going to hand it off. He's going to hand it off to someone else. But in fact, they were speaking from some sort of knowledge. They probably read an article similar to this at some point. So I don't know, but I'm curious if you guys are holding out hope as well. Are you optimistic? Are you cautiously optimistic? Or do you just hate this idea? Are you going to stop reading Reacher now? Let me know. And if you enjoy videos or podcasts like this, here's what I do on this channel. I pick a subject or a topic once a day. Something that I'm interested in, and I talk about it. And it's usually entertainment or pop culture related, but it's from my own personality. It's the stuff that I enjoy, the stuff that I like talking about. Most of the time it's pop culture and entertainment, but every once in a while it delves into politics or life stories or, just random thoughts. But if you're interested in that, if you can vibe with something like that and you'd like to get something new in your feed, I try to do it every day. Now, I'm not perfect, but I try to do at least one topic every day. It's why I call it Daily BS. And if you dig that, if you want a random topic in your feed every day, please subscribe to the channel or favorite or follow the podcast. And if you decide to stick around, thank you very much. And I'll talk to you again tomorrow.